I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm down to just waste time right below your waistline. Want you by my head.
So, to start off, potassium is the third most abundant mineral in the body that regulates fluid and muscle contractions, as well as sending nerve signals and functions as electrolytes. In water, electrolytes conduct electricity by dissolving into ions with potassium ions, having a positive charge. The electricity aids in fluid balance, nerve signals, and muscle contractions, which is why low or high amounts may harm the body. Potassium can be found almost anywhere. In food, some of the best potassium-rich sources are bananas, avocados, sweet potatoes, spinach, watermelons, coconut juice, beans, peanuts, tomatoes, butternut squash, potatoes, dried apricots, Swiss chard, beets, pomegranates, fruit and vegetable juices, fish, yams, and salt substitutes. So, what does potassium do for the body? Well, it helps regulate fluid balance. Both potassium and sodium concentrations affect the amount of water in the ICF and ECF, which are found in the blood, spinal fluid, and between cells. ICF is the intracellular fluid, wherein potassium is the main electrolyte, regulating water inside the cells, whereas the extracellular fluid, or ECF, has sodium outside the cells. An important term to remember is osmolality. It is the number of electrolytes relative to the amount of fluid. There needs to be an equal balance of electrolytes in cells from both the inside and the outside, or else an imbalance or inequality in osmolality will occur. It will cause the water from the side with fewer electrolytes to move into the side with more electrolytes in order to equalize the concentrations. For us, a fluid imbalance may cause dehydration, which may affect the heart and kidneys. Second, potassium is important for the nervous system. The nerve impulses in the nervous system relays messages between the brain and the body, generated by potassium ions out of the cells and with sodium ions moving into the cells. A drop in potassium blood levels will hinder nerve impulses from regenerating in the body, which will impede muscle contractions, heartbeat, and reflex regulation. Lastly, potassium helps regulate muscle and heart contractions. By altering blood potassium levels, muscle contractions may be weakened due to affecting the nerve signals. The movement of potassium also aids in and out of the cells to aid in maintaining a regular heartbeat. Remember that high potassium blood levels cause abnormal heartbeats, as the heart may become dilated, which can weaken contractions. Next are low potassium blood levels, which alter the heartbeat. And lastly, heart arrhythmia, or irregular heartbeats, cause the heart to ineffectively pump blood to the brain, organs, and muscles. Now that you've learned what potassium does to the body, next up is how much potassium do teens from ages 14 to 18 require to be healthy. Well, for males, they would need about 3,000 milligrams a day, while females only need 2,300 milligrams a day. Through lack or excess consumption of potassium in foods, deficiencies and toxicities may occur. Hypokalemia is the decrease in potassium levels. This can be caused by insufficient intake, plus heavy sweating and extreme conditions that may increase fluid losses such as vomiting, diarrhea, and diuretics, and laxative usages. Hypokalemia commonly occurs to hospitalized patients taking medications that increase potassium excretion. Magnesium deficiency can also cause potassium deficiency because the kidneys need magnesium in order to reabsorb potassium in regulating normal cell levels. This condition is more common to women, but it also occurs to people with Cushing's syndrome, Gittleman syndrome, Liddle syndrome, Bartter syndrome, and Fanconi syndrome. Some symptoms include fatigue, muscle cramps and weakness, prolonged usage of laxatives, certain asthma medications, and low magnesium. On the other hand, potassium toxicity, such as hyperkalemia, is the opposite of hypokalemia, in which there is an increase in potassium levels. Usually, excess potassium is excreted by the kidneys through urine, but individuals with compromised kidneys and high potassium diets over 4,700 milligrams daily use potassium-based salt substitutes. Before moving on, an interesting fact about potassium is that it can be used as a salt substitute by switching sodium chloride with potassium chloride. This type of salt is for individuals on salt-restricted diets who may benefit from the lower sodium content. Although potassium salt is not recommended for cooking because of its bitter aftertaste when heated. And/or take medications holding onto potassium in the body, such as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, can cause hyperkalemia. This condition occurs in people with renal disease, heart failure, and people who use certain medications such as renin, angiotensin, aldosterone inhibitors. Symptoms include weakness, fatigue, nausea, vomiting, shortness of breath, chest pain, and heart palpitations or irregular heartbeat. Does it help or hinder another nutrient? Well, potassium and sodium are two important nutrients associated together in regulating physiological balance, although both offer opposite effects in the body. Potassium aids the body in regulating fluid levels inside the cells, while sodium, its counterpart, maintains fluid levels outside of the cells. Increased salt intake can increase blood pressure, which may lead to heart disease. Meanwhile, a high potassium intake can decrease blood pressure and relax the blood vessels to excrete sodium. To conclude, potassium hinders increased sodium, which would mean that more potassium is needed compared to sodium each day. Now for some snack ideas. The box came with regular potato chips, but I think I can increase its potassium content by making homemade potato chips.
Below your waistline, want you by my head. I'm done with all this FaceTime, need some alone time, baby. You're always running in my mind. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm done with all this FaceTime, need some alone time, baby. You're always running in my mind. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
Before ending the video, here are some links about issues relating to potassium, specifically the alkaline diet. To explain, it is a diet claiming that the pH value in the body can be altered. pH value means that it is a measurement of acidity or alkalinity. The process in the body occurs when metabolism converts food into energy, similar to a fire, with both involving a chemical reaction to break down solid masses, although the reaction in the body is slower and much more controlled. Metabolic waste is then left behind from the foods we consume, just like how fire leaves an ash, leading to the acid ash hypothesis, stating that alkaline ash protects us while acidic ash can be harmful for us. The hypothesis implies how consuming acidic foods causes acidity in our blood, while alkaline foods, such as potassium-rich foods, will cause our blood to be more alkaline. Although this diet has been denied by researchers due to its impossibility in changing the pH of the blood through diet alone, yet individuals still partake in it. By doing the diet, certain symptoms may occur, such as negative occurrences from the lack of bicarbonate and minerals such as potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium, that is supposed to neutralize excess acid. Individuals will also have mineral loss and weak bones from increased bicarbonate buffering and alkaline minerals for sulfate excretion. Muscle and connective tissues also break down by eliminating hydrogen ions and ammonium. From high ammonia production, calcium and citrate reabsorption increases, which will cause kidney stones. Lastly, tissues are harmed and enzymes are reduced due to acid increase.
Fill my brain with some ecstasy. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want to feel